Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So this is another article that I was quite eager to get into and to cover on this channel, and it's regarding Andrew Neil, who felt as though Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview was inadequate and that Oprah didn't do a good enough job. And I happen to agree with him. I don't think that Oprah really got to the meat and potatoes of why Meghan and Harry decided to essentially stab the royal family in the back, and why they turned their backs on their royal responsibilities and duties that have enabled them to live this very lavish lifestyle out in the United States of America. It seemed very one-sided, and it seemed as though she wasn't really prying or asking them the proper questions that everybody really wants to know the answers to. And it was very scripted in a sense that came off in a way to make them look like the victims in this situation. She didn't really elaborate on why they continue to moan and complain, and why they feel as though they need to air their dirty laundry in such a degrading manner out in the United States of America. So this article is titled Andrew Neil tears apart Oprah, Harry and Meghan interview, didn't do a proper job. Andrew Neil has criticised Oprah Winfrey for her interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, saying she didn't do what she was meant to do. Former BBC journalist Andrew Neil spoke to Amoy Rajan on the BBC Media Show podcast last week and gave his verdict on the big interview with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey. Mr. Neil has made a name for himself with his tough interviewing of politicians, but he wasn't impressed with Oprah's performance. The journalist said Meghan's comments were more damaging than those from Princess Diana's famous 1995 interview, but Oprah didn't push her to check if the claims were true, which she didn't. She kind of just took it at face value. She didn't cross-question anything that Meghan said. She kind of just let Meghan use the interview as a platform to vent and trash the royal firm, and she didn't really look at both sides of the puzzle or even explore any kind of miscommunication that could have gone on, which is understandable because they seem to have developed this friendship and this allegiance to each other, her and Oprah, to trash the royal firm and make a lot of money out of sensationalism. That's how I perceive it. So he carried on to say, it is dynamite as an interview. It's a global news story. I think it is more damaging to the royal family than the Diana interview because it is a much bigger issue. Diana's interview was basically about this rather dysfunctional Germanic family that she had married into, incapable of showing emotion, that had driven her to divorce and all the rest of it. It was a personal story. However, he noted that Meghan and Harry's interview followed a rather different agenda, as issues of race were discussed, but criticised Oprah for not pushing the couple. He continued, of course, Oprah never pushed them to determine whether it was true or not, to push them on the issues and do a proper job as an interviewer, as opposed to saying, here's a softball down the leg side, whack it for 6. Mr. Neil added that the interview from the Sussexes is hugely damaging for the royal family. He added, before I heard the headlines, I thought the royal family would just try and tough it out, let it be a one-week wonder. I think such are the issues she has raised. They can't really do that. It is a crisis time again for the royal family. Claims made by the Sussexes about their royal struggles, family tensions and their son Archie have made headlines around the world and brought the monarchy under scrutiny, Meghan alleged that there was concern from a member of the family about her baby Archie's skin tone before he was born. Harry backed up the claim, but both refused to disclose any more detail about the conversation. Of course, they wouldn't disclose any more detail because they wanted to leave the door open for the royal firm to be thrown under the bus and out of scrutiny. It continues on here. Meghan also said she didn't want to be alive anymore and alleged that the institution said she could not get help. Following the interview, a short statement issued on behalf of the Queen read saying the whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the past few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan and Archie will always be much loved family members. Mr. Neil, who is also preparing to launch a new career at GB News, opened up on his view of the monarchy. Mr. Rajan also pointed out that in 1997, Mr. Neil argued the Republican side in a debate and asked whether he still held Republican views. Mr. Neil said, "Not really. I am not a cheerleader monarchist. I can see the strength of a republic. My main objection to the royal family at that time was basically Marxist. It behaved like it was the pinnacle of a class system and they were the top ones. My Sunday Times was devoted to breaking up Britain's class system, and I thought it would be possible to have a royal family separate from the class system." And that is the conclusion for this article. And I think he's right. Oprah didn't really cross-question anything that they said. She took it at face value and she was controlled in her interviewing style. She didn't really grill them on especially the race issue or kind of explore all the varying possibilities that I would have explored, especially as a woman of colour. And I think because Oprah is a woman of colour, it makes it more damaging in a sense, because she didn't raise logical questions that would have kind of shone a light on Meghan and Harry's victimhood narrative. I wouldn't immediately be offended if someone was to say to me, if I was pregnant with a child from someone of a different race, "Oh, what colour do you think the child's gonna be?" Like, how is that immediately having to be a racist comment? I just don't understand why Oprah didn't kind of point that out as a black woman. But then Oprah's childless, so maybe, I don't know, she just couldn't be bothered to raise that issue. But I think more importantly, they wanted to ensure that something was broadcast and went out there that would do insurmountable damage to the firm, because Meghan and Harry are looking to destroy it, and that's a fact. So someone has commented on the article and they said, "Oprah, you have excelled in showing your bias, disgraceful. You could have had an insightful interview. What a shame you gave in to unsubstantiated, shocking statements. Oh well, it was a huge payday for you. Best work, oh dear. As each slur has been proven as a lie. You must feel pretty silly. So what's left? A narcissist who bagged the spare and could never bow to a king or queen of the future. We are proud of our queen, her whole life given over to service, the longest reigning monarch, as opposed to a Z-lister who wanted to be her heroine, Diana, but couldn't lick her boots. Give her dues. She managed to persuade Harry to go along with it." I always find it funny when people write as if they're directly talking to the person. But yeah, I mean, there's truth in these statements. It is really tragic. And Oprah made a lot of money. So reports are that she sold the interview for £7.7 million. It could have been more. Some reports have said that she got 10 million for it, so I think that's maybe why she didn't delve into the real facts. It was a lucrative payday for her. Apparently Meghan and Harry didn't get any of that money, but I don't believe it, to be honest. They claimed, we're not being paid to do this. Really? Who knows? But I personally feel as though there's some kind of backhanded deal going on, an exchange going on between Oprah and Meghan and Harry. And I don't think that this will be the last shared interaction between the three of them, because it's very lucrative and they're getting exactly what they want, which is mass media attention and shining the spotlight on the royal firm and damaging their reputation that they've built over the centuries, right? So yeah, that's the end of this video. There's loads and loads of comments about this. A lot of people are agreeing with what he said, and I agree with what he said. But what more can we really do but watch this tragic tale unfold? I'll be back with another video. Bye guys.